Hi everyone, welcome to Behind the Wheel Racing. My name is Jay. Thank you for joining me today. We've got Gran Turismo 7 Daily Race B at Spa in the Grade 4 cars. I absolutely love racing at Spa, whether it be Grade 4, Grade 3, road cars, F1. I absolutely love it. I know it's a fan favorite as well, so I hope you enjoy this video. We're going to jump right into this first race here in the McLaren 650, and not super great in the McLaren. Now, this car did top the leaderboards for pole position, and it was really fast in the wide open sections, which play a big difference in how you can finish, especially because this last section here. But if your exit is improper, then, well, it does you no good. And unfortunately, my exits in this car were just not super strong. It's the first time I had raced this car, so there was a bit of a learning curve. I gave it a couple races and just couldn't catch a groove. So I switch on to some other cars in the races after this. But for this one, I gave it a good honest try, and just couldn't quite get a hold of it. So as you can see, just not driving super great, a little bit sloppy. That last big sweeping corner there, I had a bit of issue with, just because I went in wicked and ambitious and with way too much speed. And if you get offline, as you see here, you're in trouble in the 650. So I wasn't the only one struggling in this car, but I definitely seemed to be struggling in it. So I made some changes, nothing extravagant here, finishing in 10th place. But, giving that McLaren the good old honest try. So in this next race, I'm going to jump in the SLS AMG, and I actually found quite a bit of progress here. Now, what the AMG has that kind of makes the top speed of it isn't quite what the McLarens have, but I noticed that I was able to keep up more because I dig driving this car. I had driven the Mercedes before, so I was familiar with it. I jumped in the Supra later in this video. Both cars I'm much more familiar with, so I think the exit speeds alone were really making up for not that one sucked, but they were making up for a lot of my mistakes on the exit. Or not making up, I just know how to control it better. So I was able to, get a good exit, especially of Del Rouge, and jump into those straightaways with a little bit more mustard than I was in the McLaren. So a little bit smoother here, making our way up. That McLaren will come back, and like I said, if you know how to handle it, then you'll get some really good straight line speed out of it. Picking up a quick place there due to a rage quit. I understand. I totally get it. I try not to do it myself, but it does happen. This guy catches up to me. I make a mistake here. I come into the corner way too hot, and then I'm going to come into this other corner also way too hot, and there's that nice powder blue McLaren passing me by. Unfortunately, I just see the taillights here. Now, these guys get into it a little bit, and luckily I'm able to salvage place. That light blue is playing a little bit aggressive here, but they were kind of whacking each other a little bit. So I passed that F1 McLaren inspired livery, and I keep 8th place. Not a great race, but definitely a little bit better than when I was in the 650. It was noticeable for me, and I didn't see a ton of other AMGs up on the ranking board super high, but they were scattered here and there. So I gave it another chance here in this race, and I'm starting all the way back in 15. Put up a little bit better of a time, possibly. I think it might have been a different lobby with a few different characters here, but I have a love-hate relationship with starting back right now, because right now I am trying to figure out, proper racing lines, proper racing in general. I'm really trying to learn at this point, where I am in racing sims. So it gives me a little bit less pressure when I'm starting in the back, so I don't take, I don't tense up as much. I'm able to kind of just drive the car and focus on some of the more technical aspects instead of wondering, is the guy behind me just gonna run into me? Am I gonna brake too late? But that's all part of racing, and that's all stuff that I am learning. So I take this area of no pressure, and I actually do okay. You see a lot of people there making mistakes, and I'm just trying to capitalize on them, and I do in quite a bit. We're up into 11th at this point in the race, so already gaining 4 positions, and kind of keep up the momentum here. Just trying to keep it clean there. I thought I gave that guy plenty of room, but a lot of people are having issues in that corner as well as this one. This driver goes too wide as well. So I jaunt my way up into 9th place at this point of the race. This is lap 2. And then I run into these guys, and I didn't have the space to make a move, so I don't know why I went in so aggressive into that corner, especially knowing that I've made mistakes there before. So I pick up this little penalty. I was no stranger to that, getting penalties in that corner this week, and since I finished with half a second, it tacks on another half a second, full second penalty. But luckily I've got enough of a gap between me and the driver behind to where that doesn't do any difference to my place. So I end up here in 9th place, and a little bit of progress, starting from 15th. Hard to be super mad there. So making progress, and this is the point where I jump in the Supra. I put up a bit better of a lap time. I believe I shaved off a good second and change off of my qualifying time. And if you look at that bottom right, I'm taking a peek at that weather radar. I love the dynamic weather in Gran Turismo 7. It's challenging, but I think it is super fun. It adds a little bit of spice to the races, and it overall kind of, gives you some more experience, so you're not just racing, straight forward the whole time. But that did provide challenges starting in that race. You can see at the bottom left, that little meter shows you how much water is on the surface level of the track. And I make a nifty little move there, get past 2 drivers there going into this. So I set myself up fairly nice for this and ruin that potential with another half-second penalty. This is all lap 1 right now. And the guy in front of us, we meet a little bit later in this video, and I was racing against him all night, and we had actually kept it nice and friendly, no big issues until a little bit later, but discrepancies there, we'll see that. Now this is an interesting point in the race, because you see that McLaren there pitting for wet weather tires. I believe he tossed on some intermediates. Now I didn't find that there was enough rain on track to justify wasting a lot of time in the pits, because this is only a 4-lap race. So I say that, but then this bites me right here. I make a nice little move there, and if you look at that gauge at the bottom left, we can see some water on the surface level of the course, and a significant amount. It bites me there, and it bites me here as well, just braking way too late for wet weather. And it's not a ton of rain, but it is enough, and we are on racing hards. So a lot of I think that one McLaren that we saw was the only one that hit it during the race, and they didn't really make too many places with it or anything like that. Still not enough to toss on the wet weather tires, but enough to be cautious. And I'm not cautious enough in some of these parts. Last lap of the race, last corner. No stranger to making mistakes in that long sweeping turn at this point. So pick up another penalty there. End up in 6th place. yeah, it ends up being a second because we finished with a half second. But again, luckily, no harm, no foul. I've got plenty of gap between me and the driver behind. And again, this last race, we are going to be in the Supra. And there is a point here. There's 2 points of, I guess, some discrepancy. The first one comes up pretty quick in this race. Now, these lobbies were pretty good. I was racing clean, and I'm gonna preface this race by saying Gran Turismo gave me the clean race star. So, however their algorithm works, it's pretty tough to get a clean race in instances, especially in these open lobbies a little bit later in the night, and we just get right after it in this first race. We got 2 wide there, the McLaren and the Ferrari, and then if you look up there, the other McLaren in first place goes off track. These guys kind of bunch it up right here. I try and just keep it nice and clean, but if you look at that radar, I see there's a guy on back right of me, and that's a Ferrari that's just gonna smash right into the back of me. I run into that guy. It might have been a late move on my part. Let me know what you think in the comments, but there was no rain at that point in this race, so late braking by that guy, whether it be out of spite or accident, doesn't matter at this point. I slide around here a little bit farther in this race in a second. There comes first place again. This guy was driving pretty good, and he was using that McLaren to its full potential. So I just kind of give him that place back. I felt bad, even though it was an incident. And then we have this guy again. We were on each other the whole race. We're coming to this final sweeping corner, and luckily we do keep it clean here, but not a ton of room. Enough room, I'm not mad. That's just good. That's just good hard racing right there. And this is where it gets a little controversial. So we come down this long straight. You've got a ton of speed coming into this corner. I hit the brakes a little bit later, and then he comes up, taps behind me, and that's enough to push me offline and into him. Once you get off of that racing line, especially at those, I don't know what it is about Spa, but those kind of, I'm not sure what kind of surface it is, but those green out of bounds markers right there, they are slippery. So if you touch one, you're not in control. And that's what happened there at a pure racing incident. But I want to know what y'all think about that, because I still felt a little bit bad about it, especially that late in the race. But let me know what y'all think. I'm really curious there. Thank you again for joining me. Like, subscribe, comment, and there's that little clean race star to end our video off on a good note. But thanks again for joining me. We will see you next time.